Okay, so up front you'll see the power jack. Now this has a switch on the bottom here that's used to raise and lower. There's also on the top there's a port, and in here you can also use a hand crank. So this is, the jacks are 12 volt obviously. These work off of your battery system or when you're plugged in, but you know, if for some reason it wasn't working or if you had a power failure, you can always crank these manually in order to raise and lower the trailer. Behind the battery box, this has the 12 volt battery for running the lights and slide out and things if you're parked. There is a fuse you'll see right over here, and this fuse is actually for the jack. So if you overload the jack and it stops working, you may want to pop the fuse and check that. So under the cover you'll see the 2 propane tanks, and right up top you're going to see your regulator, and this has a lever on it. You'll see it says supply, and this is really simple. You just point it to one side, and that's basically the tank you're going to be using wherever you point it. Okay, this will automatically change if you run out of gas and have to you know, have your heat on or something in the middle of the night. So if this runs out of gas, it will automatically switch from one tank to the other. This may not show up in the daylight here, but there is a little sight window, and it turns from green to red when your tank runs out, and that's when it switches. So periodically, if you just look right in that little window, when you see it's red, that's going to signal that you need to get one tank refilled. Okay, these doors, and these are nice heavy duty doors on this too. In here, that's the electrical cable. So that's the power cable you use to plug the unit in with. I'm going to show you that shortly as we walk around. There's a couple lights in here too as well that can be used when you're loading and unloading the compartment. There's also stabilizer jacks. So on the front of this, you'll see there's some crank down. There's one right here. So each corner has a stabilizer jack. So once this is parked, you can lower those. Another nice thing here is the slide out has this slide topper built in. So once you put your slides out, this unrolls. That keeps a lot of debris off the roof of the slide. It also helps protect these gaskets here. It's going to help keep the pine needles and debris out of those. So this is the vent for the stove if you're going to cook inside, and you'll see there's a little tab, and then there's a flap, and there's a fan inside that you turn on and off, but this allows the air to come through obviously when you run the fan. But when you're driving down the road, you want to close it so it doesn't you know, flap around over there. All right, now we're getting into the good stuff here. So this is your cable inlet. If you go somewhere that has cable, you can hook that up right there. This is where your electric cord goes. So I showed you that in the front compartment. That's a 30 amp cord that comes with the unit. You just use that to plug this in basically. City water connection. This is your hose connection at the campground. You connect that into the hose, and that gives you water inside your RV. This is your water heater. There's also an outside shower here. And down below you'll see there's a waste valve. 2 waste valves. You got a black valve on the left, gray valve on the right, and this is your discharge in the center. These are gate valves. So basically you grab that handle, you pull it, and that will drain your wastewater. There's also some labels here too. So you got wastewater and sewer. Wastewater refers to gray. That's your sink and shower wastewater. Sewer is the toilet, obviously. That's to drain that down. Now there is also a black tank flush system on this unit. So right below your city water port, you'll see there's a second hose connection. And this is used when you empty your wastewater. So you're all done camping, you're emptying this thing out now. Once you drain your black water, you're going to connect your hose here. And you let that run for a minute or two. That's going to rinse the black tank out for you so it's clean before you store it. Now the water heater, this is just the vent for the water heater. This is all controlled from the inside of the unit. So you actually don't do anything out here other than, you inspect it, clean it. There's a burner here. Sometimes like a gas grill, you get a little cobweb in there and you gotta blow that out. There is a drain plug right down here. And on these, when you go to winterize your RV, that's something that you're going to want to drain just for the winter. You don't want to leave water in these, so that's when you take the drain plug out. Other than that, you really don't touch that when you're out camping. That's your other jack here. So again, you got jacks on all four corners. License plate bracket in the center. This bumper, this is a removable cap on the bumper, and that's storage for your holding tank, or your hose. To drain your holding tank, you put your sewer hose in there when you're not using it. Keeps it outside for you. So a couple things over here. Again, we got a slide out over here, and this again has a slide topper built in. This is kind of neat. There's an outlet way up top. Why is there an outlet up high? Well, that's for your lights. If you want to decorate out here and hang some lights up under your awning, that's your outlet for doing that. This is the vent for your fridge. This is the vent for your furnace. Now these are controlled from the inside. There's nothing really in here. Again, other than maintenance, periodic cleaning, that's about the only time those are going to get opened. Throughout the year, you really don't have to mess with those too much. So there's a couple outside speakers. There's one there, one over to the right. There's also another outlet down here. There's a cable hookup here. It's if you wanted to put a TV. This is a TV bracket. If you wanted to hang a TV outside, you could do that. And there's a door here. It says freshwater fill. Let's see if I can open this. All right, I may not have the right key, but let's try this one. There we go. So in here, this is to fill your freshwater tank. This is for like a state park, or if you're gonna go to a campground where they don't supply water. So this allows you to fill it up at home. You put your hose in there, that fills your tank, and now you're bringing your own water with you. You can be self-contained with that freshwater tank. In here, here's a crank here. This is the crank for the stabilizer jacks. You can also crank that front jack, again, if power failure. So little lights in here. I don't have power on here right now, so they're off, but those are 12-volt lights. You also see there's some Velcro. I think actually the Velcro used to hold the crank up. Probably put it back there at some point. There's also the switch here, and this is to open and close the awning. So you'll have this awning opened like this. A day like today, you got a sunny day. This is adjustable for rain. And I mean, really, if it's a bad rain or heavy wind, you have to close this. But if it's just a passing shower, if you grab right here and pull down, and then there's a knob right here, and you want to tighten that knob. Of course, I only have one hand here. Okay, so we pull down, tighten the knob, and you can see now we've created some additional pitch. In fact, if I back up here, you'll really see the difference. So this is used to drain water if it rains. Because the size of the awning here, you don't want water to build up under here because it can, it can stretch the fabric. You can damage things. So you tip that to one side and that'll allow your water to drain. You can do both sides too. You can tip both sides. They both have the same function. You can pull that down, tighten the knob, and now you get really good water shedding ability. But again, listen, if it's windy, thunderstorm, heavy rain, just close this thing. Don't leave it open. This is way too big to leave open in the wind, okay? This is just a big sail, so you don't want to damage this thing. Make sure you're careful with it. Day like today, nice and sunny, it's great. That's what these are made for. Okay, your screen door, you have the little bug guard here, so you can, this is just closed like, you open it to get in and out, obviously, but you close it up so you don't have bugs going through. Okay, so in here, there's some switches right here. These are all light switches. You'll see this is going to run some inside lights and some outside lights for you. Various switches. Actually, let me plug this into some power so we can go through and actually show you everything working. Okay, we're plugged into power now. So I'm gonna come around here. So again, you have a couple lights in here. Again, that's your awning switch. And you see, you just hold this button down and this basically, that closes the awning up for you. Pretty simple. Okay, once it's in all the way, these arms, they nest up pretty tight, so there's no gaps or anything. Just show you what it looks like when it's closed. Okay, so back inside where your light switches are. So this first switch, this is your ceiling lights. These, by the way, have switches, so if you don't want them all on at night, you can switch them off individually. You also got, there's an outside light over here. There's actually two bulbs in here. I don't know if you can see or not. There's an orange light, which is like a night light, and there's a white light, which is a little bit brighter. So you got a couple options there you can run for lights. If you look under the cabinet here, you'll see a switch. This is to open and close your slide room. See that? So if you hold this down, you'll see the slide room come in. Okay, that opens and closes your slide room. There's also this switch here. So that switch is for the outside plug that's up by the awning. So say you buy some lights and you hang them up outside, plug them in, that switch you can use to turn those on and off. This switch is for the bedroom lights. There's a couple lights in here. There's also a vent here in the bedroom with a fan. This has a cover on it, so even when you have it open, if it's raining, you won't have any water come in, which is nice. There's some reading lights over here. There's outlets in the front. Both sides of the bed have outlets. which is really nice. This lifts up to the large storage area under the bed. This is a queen bed, by the way, too. So, you know, if you have your favorite mattress you prefer, you could switch this out with something that's you know, more to your liking. These windows, they all open. So you got a window there, a window over here. This window's a little different. This one's an emergency exit window. So this window, if you pull this little handle, you can open it like that for ventilation. And this one you can swing open fully. So if you had the need, you can use that as an exit. These are just called these are like they're called night shades. They're on a carrier string here, and you just basically push them up, pull them down as you need them. Very simple. There's it's an accordion door, and you got two. There's one on this side. There's also one over here. These, I mean, pretty simple. It's on a track. You just slide it across, and it gives you a little privacy in the bedroom or to get changed or something like that. Little button snap here, so you can get that locked up as well. So there's a couple more lights. You'll see there's another light over here, another one over the sink, another one over the table. These all have buttons on them. You just push the button to turn those on. All LED, by the way. All of these lights are LED, and they're not the you know, they're nice and bright too. They're not some of the aftermarket ones that I've seen people use. They really don't give off a lot of light. These are super bright, and it's a nice color too. It's not that real sharp blue tone. It's a nice warm color. It's correct for what you'd want in here. This is really neat. It's got a skylight right over the table here, so you got a little more natural light. And this has a shade too, and you can pull this across and keep the direct sun off the table if you want, or, you know, open it up and, well, you just got a ton of light through there over the table. Really nice feature. Lots of storage in this one too. There's overhead cabinets pretty much on every wall, down the sides, in the front. The whole slide out here. You got cabinets back here. I mean, these could be, you know, pantry cabinets. There's a hanger in here. I mean, you can definitely put shelves in here if that's more your style as well. Down here is your electrical center. You got fuses and circuit breakers. This you just push and it opens up. Pretty simple. That's your propane leak detector. Also, that's a carbon monoxide detector. And that's hardwired. It runs all the time. There is a removable panel right here. You'll see there's some screws in the corner. So that panel is removable because behind it is your water heater shutoff valve. So during winterization, when it's time to winterize this, that's when you pull that panel and you shut down your water heater for the winter season. You got a microwave here. This is really just, actually, this is a microwave and it's a convection oven too. I didn't realize it was a convection oven also. So you got, this is actually the screen that goes under the hood vent. So that was not put in. Actually, it looks like it might have been, this might be a replacement screen. But this is a convection oven and microwave, so it's got the rack in there. These are great. You can use that. You can really cook a lot of food with the convection oven. That's really cool to have that. So again, this thing here mounts up. You'll see there's a fan under here. You know, this is when you're cooking inside. This is just a little filter that snaps up there. I'll put that back on after. I think this must have come down to get, maybe to get cleaned or get replaced, because this thing looks really like, this thing looks brand new. I think I just got to snap that in. Your stove, which, you know, this is propane. These are real simple. You just turn, I'll light all the burners. You turn it to light. This is your sparker. So see, there's like a little arrow. Just give this a couple clockwise clicks until it starts. There we go. We got one burner, 2, 3. So that lights your top burners. Sometimes you can see this may take a few seconds to light, especially if it's been sitting for a while, because you got to get the air out of the lines. There's an oven down here. The oven's a little different because there's actually a pilot light back there. So you would turn this to where it says pilot, push, hold. And this is just like anything with a pilot. You have to basically hold this in with your thumb and light the pilot with a match, and then you have to wait about 20 seconds for the oven to start. This cover too, when you go to pull this forward, it locks. You can see, you don't want to break it. You're actually going to pick up, so pull straight up and then it will come forward nice and easy. This will make an extra bed. These tables, you just pop those legs out and that table will sit right down, and you can flatten this area and use that as a secondary bed. So this is the thermostat for heating and air conditioning. Very simple. Air conditioning, you slide it to cool, set your temperature. There's a high and a low. You know, nighttime you can put it on the low setting, it's a little quieter. So your air conditioner is up on the roof here. This also has main outlets. So you see there's one right here, one right here, and one on this side too. There's a filter in the center. Now normally you leave those closed and that runs a lot quieter, and then your air goes through the ductwork. So now you'll get air all the way up here in the bedroom, okay, all the way to the back too. However, if you got a really hot day, that's what these are for. You know, if it's 90 degrees, open these up. That sends the air directly out of the unit. This is going to cool a unit down much quicker than trying to do it through the ductwork, because you lose a little efficiency traveling through the duct. So just keep that in mind. If it's a real hot day, open those things up. If you want to run the heat, you slide it over to heat. It's the same thing. Put it on heat, set your temperature, and you know, it'll warm up in here. That's actually the air return for your furnace down below the fridge. And you'll see some ducts throughout. There's one distribution duct right there. There's one kind of against the wall right there. There's an outlet down there too. There's another one over here. Kind of blows into the bedroom area there. Generally, these heaters work really well. They heat up these things very quick. So these are your fridge locks. These doors, they all click. So see that kind of clicks. So put your thumb here and pull when you go to open it. Same thing with the freezer. Now this is turned off right now. There is a light in the fridge here. When the fridge is turned on, the light will work. At the top, you'll see there's an on-off switch. This is off, so I just turned it to on, and now you'll see, now the light runs in the fridge there. This fridge is automatic. You should see this auto light come on. If it doesn't, then just hit this second button until you see that auto light come on. Auto means this is gonna try to run on electric first. And if you don't have electric, it will go to gas second. So auto means auto switch. It'll always work. It's going to try electric first. If you don't have electric, it goes to gas. Very simple. You can manually switch it to gas if you'd like. That's what the second button's for. But this is designed to just leave it in auto and let it do its own thing. These refrigerators, very different from a household fridge. Number one, there's no moving parts, no fan, no motor, no compressor. They also take about 4 to 6 hours to get cold. So when you turn this on, you know, and you're listening for something to happen, you're not going to hear anything. They're silent. They don't make any noise at all. However, like I said, they do take a little longer than a house fridge to get going. So if you haven't used an RV fridge before, that's something to kind of pay attention to. I'd get in here the day before you're going to go camping, turn this thing on. If you want to check it, just wait an hour. And if you walk out here and touch back here where these screws are, these should be like ice cold in about an hour. It's going to work to cool the freezer off first. Once that freezer's cold, then you'll get some cooling on the fridge fins down here. But that's really just the check you do. Wait an hour, check this. If this is cold in an hour, you're good. You're on your way to get running. When you're not using this fridge, I would recommend you leave the doors open. And that allows this to vent a little bit. Okay, back here you got a couple things. Well, one, you got a light switch. There's also a slide out switch. This is for your second slide. So this is like a mini slide that goes out. Now there's a bunk here. And that's on like that shock, so you can push that up. That's so you can use the couch without hitting your head on it, you know. But this couch also folds out. This is kind of like a futon. If you pull this up, I can't do it with one hand right now, but if you grab that in the center, it lays flat like a futon. And you can sleep, you know, one person going this way, and then, you know, another person up here also, if you'd like. There's also back here, you'll see you got a TV hookup, a bracket if you wanted to mount a TV back here. Or you can use a different bracket. You don't have to use this bracket. This is what this came with originally, was that bracket. It doesn't look like there was ever a TV put back there. And there's more storage back here too. Really cool. Big cabinets here. 2 sets. There's room under the cabinet you can use for bag or totes or something like that. There's a curtain here. Kind of like a privacy curtain that pulls across this track. And that'll kind of give you a little privacy in that room. So there's a light switch here for, you know, your ceiling light. There's another, you know, vent here. So this cranks up. You got a vent. You got a exhaust fan, you know, so you can run that when you're taking a shower. So this is a tub shower with a removable shower head. This is the pedal flush version. So right on the left side, you'll see there's a pedal. And I mean, real simple, you know, you just basically push the pedal and now flushes the toilet. If you pull up on the pedal, so like if you put your foot and pull up, that fills with water, because an RV toilet is a little different from a house toilet. It doesn't automatically fill with water. You have to manually fill that before you use it. So down here you've got a radio. So this is your speaker zones here, A, B, and C. So let me get something playing here. So C, that's your outside speakers. B is the front bedroom. There's 2 speakers in the bedroom. And A is in the living room. There's 2 speakers in the living room. And you can put all these on together if you want. And they will play everywhere. There's also a slot here for CD. I think this is also a DVD player too. So that's hooked up to this TV. You'll be able to do CDs and DVDs if you'd like. There's also a lock right here, you'll see. And if you unlock this, this is kind of unique. You can turn this TV around and you'll be able to watch it when you're in the bedroom too. So this TV swivels. You can use it in the bedroom or the living room. There's your remote controls in here. There's also a selector switch for cable or satellite or antenna. So depending on what you hook up to, you can flip that switch. You'll be able to use that. Got a smoke detector up here. Your other ducts are up there. Okay, we're gonna go outside, point out a couple more things for you. So one other thing on this unit, kind of nice, this has a tire pressure monitor system that was added. These are the sensors right here. They screw on to the tires, and it comes with a little display that you can mount inside your car or truck, and it'll show you the pressure when you're going down the road. Okay, I'm going up to the roof. I just want to show you. This is the vent cover. This is a Max Air cover, and this is installed over that vent in the bedroom, and that allows you can leave this open when it's raining, so you'll get ventilation through here without having to worry about rainwater come in. A couple other things you'll see. Got your TV antenna, air conditioner. That's that skylight that kitchen table. The other one's in the back for the shower. And that's actually a little solar panel that's installed. That's to help maintain the battery while this thing is just sitting around. It'll keep the battery maintained for